I was able to watch the new Disney movie Wish, so here is my review on it. Let's start off with everything I liked about the movie. And for starters, this movie celebrates the 100-year anniversary of Disney. And the way this movie handles that is really smart. Like, I was kind of expecting that of what I heard before, like earlier reviews, but this is what they do with this movie. There's like references in here to other Disney movies, and it pays tribute to those 100 years of Disney. And if you're a massive Disney fan like I am, you are going to catch those references. Like, there was so many references that I feel like I missed some. Like, I definitely missed some references. I definitely missed some references. There were so many references in here. Well, saying that, don't expect it back to back to back. But when they do happen, there's a lot of them. And I might have missed some. But definitely on rewatch, I will definitely see more of those. But since this 100 years anniversary of Disney, I really liked what they did with this movie. And just the plot of this movie as well kind of represents that. Speaking of the plot, I was hooked into this plot in the second act of this movie. I was completely hooked in. I was sold. Yes, it's not as good as like previous movies. Get to that later, but I was completely hooked on the second act of this movie, and I loved everything they were doing. And the villain in here, the trailers did not sell me on Chris Pine as the villain. Well, they sold me on the voice of Chris Pine as the villain, but they did not sell me on he's the villain. What the trailer was telling me is that I was on Chris Pine's side, the villain side. But this movie does a way better job at making him the villain, that I was no longer on his side, and I was officially on the main character's side. But yeah, but if you had the same problem as me, the movie does a way better job at making Chris Pine the villain instead of what the trailers showed us. Of course, it's a Disney movie. How are the songs in it? I like most of the songs in here. I'll talk about it more later, but definitely the second half of the songs I did enjoy. The first half we will talk about later, but the second half I did find really catchy. Of course, it's not as good as Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King, etc. But they were more catchy than the first half of songs that we got. And those second half of songs, I mean, like, there's probably one in the first half that was catchy, but mostly the second act was more catchy. And obviously, the animation in this movie is beautiful. It has a fairy tale kind of feel to it. And yeah, it has a fairy tale kind of feel to it, and the beginning of this movie establishes why the animation is like that. Once you see the movie, you know the beginning scene, and it leads into the animation, and it's just lovely of how they did that, and it really works with the film, and this style of animation is really pretty to look at. And YouTube kind of blurs it out in their clips and trailers, so the only real way to see it is on the movie theater screen. Before I continue, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, or if you've seen the movie, and follow my letterbox called The Coleman Movie, and let's move on to everything I did not like about the movie. And for starters, let me just say that the first half of this story wasn't as strong. Like I said in the I liked section, I was hooked in the second act. But I feel like the beginning of the first act didn't win me over. It did not win me over, and it didn't win me over, and I wasn't completely sold on it. And then once we got to like around the middle and the second act, I was hooked into the story. So about 20 minutes into the movie, I was finally hooked into everything that was happening. I'm sure on rewatch this problem will be fixed because I know where the story leads. But on the first time watching it, I feel like the movie didn't really fully start until 25 minutes in. Now, for the most part, there are a few good jokes in here, but a lot of the other ones are just weird and are interesting in a bad way. There's a lot of potty humor in here. Well, not like full out potty humor, but there was this one part in the song, and if you have listened to the soundtrack, you can maybe point it out. But there was this one point in the song, and I was like, really? You had to make that joke? Makes no sense. It's about like the fourth, maybe fifth song. I don't really know fully, but it's weird. I did not really like that joke at all. And then there's a couple other ones sprinkled throughout the movie. Nothing really bad that affects the movie entirely, but there's a couple weird ones that don't really work. And again, like the story, the first half of the songs in here, I didn't really find catchy. Now, I did say there was one or two songs in the first half that did steal my attention, but everything that stuck in my head is either from the second half or that one song that we see in the trailer that's in the first half of the movie. If you've seen the trailer, you of course know what the song is. That one's catchy as well. And then most of the songs in the second act are catchy as well. So it's not like other Disney movies where every single song is a hit, in my opinion. There was a few ones that were off, and I do not find myself humming, listening to, or singing anytime soon. We had this era of Disney that were straight up good movies, like, of course, the Renaissance era. I'm not going to compare to that, but that's unbeatable. But then we had, like, the Frozen era, Moana era, Zootopia era. We had that kind of era. I'll count Encanto into that, because I really enjoyed that. But I feel like Strange World and now Wish do not have those same charm. I feel like they're kind of slowing down and trying to pick back up to those charms of those era. Now, they are making Frozen 3, Frozen 4, Zootopia 2, but now it looks like they're making sequels now. Zootopia 2 I am excited about. That's a problem for a different time, but yeah, I feel like this movie is not as good as that era, and it seems like it's not as good as Encanto either, with song and story-wise. But, all in all, Wish is it's a movie for Disney fans. If you are a Disney fan, you are going to love everything they do with this movie to celebrate the 100th year anniversary of Disney and this animated studio. Like, there was a short film, not really short film, it was like a minute long, but it was also kind of tying into like 100th year of anniversary for Disney and really tying up that all in. And yeah, this movie's just made for that. Like, it's not references every few minutes, but they're in there still. For the most part, the story's good. For the most part, the songs are catchy. And yeah, this is just a fun time. Could be better, but could be worse. It's not on Strange World level, but it's not on Encanto, Frozen, Aladdin level. It's just right there in the middle. I would rewatch it, and I do recommend this movie. And out of 10, I give Wish a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.